Good morning, everybody. My name is Jared O'Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still got plenty of stuff to work on. In these practice streams, I'm sharing the raw, unfiltered, here's me actually practicing stuff I'm trying to improve, whether it's chops, tenors, limb independence, whatever. I've been drumming for almost 30 years now, but I still got plenty of stuff to work on. I've also taught every grade, kindergarten through doctoral students, so I'll sometimes get people who come in and ask me questions about how to get better as a performer or how to get better as an educator. And I will often edit those answers and put them in this drumming tips videos. It's like 13 seconds shy of 16 hours of free drumming tips inside of here, over 100 videos. The first thing that I talk about is whatever the title is, and then if it says and other drumming tips or and other teaching tips, that means there are more tips inside of there. So like this one starts off by talking about what moves with traditional grip, and then it talks about some other things. So if you're not interested in like the title of it, you might be interested in the other tips that are inside of there. And if it doesn't say, and other drumming tips like this one, then it just means in this video, all I'm talking about is whether or not it's worth it to get a doctorate in music as somebody who has a PhD in music education. Now, I am going to get motivated here thanks to Shia LaBeouf. Shia is going to help me out. But I'm going to hide him because of copyright. So Shia, help me. I want to get better at Flammus. What can I do? Do it! Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. I don't know what he's grabbing. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Wow, Shia LaBeouf. Everybody is super motivated now. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to drum. Now, I've got on my YouTube channel's home tab over 2,000 drumming videos for free. And they're organized so that if you click on the header for each one of the sections, it expands and it shows you all the different playlists. But if you go to the link that's at the top of the screen, jaredoleary.com/drum, it's also the first link in every one of the drumming videos. It takes you to here, which has 80 chop exercises organized into here, like all these shopping sprees. We're going to be playing Flammus here in a minute. It's got over 1,000 grid variations, triplet versions, 16th note versions for a bunch of different rudiments, as well as some wacky ones like hurt to grid. Limb independence. I was practicing that yesterday. I'll be back on that tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. If you want to learn how to do limb independence, watch that video. There's almost 500 marching bass drum exercises in here, play-alongs. I'd highly recommend focusing on these timing variations. And then once you get to the more intermediate and advanced stuff, you can do the splits timing, which simulates playing on a bass line. You'll see what I'm talking about by it muting and unmuting certain parts. Little tease there. And then we've got a bunch of drumline cadences in score format. We've also got over 200 sight reading exercises, over 400 technique exercises, and then over 16 hours of free drumming tips like how to hold traditional grip or the stretch and massage routine that I'll do here in a few minutes. And then again, this drumming tips playlist that has over 15 hours of tips, as well as some other goofy stuff like reacting to AI-related drumming or some product reviews that are not sponsored. Now, I am going to play through Flammus. And what I recommend, if you're trying to refine an exercise or like refine your technique, is to play through an exercise and play through it slow. Like start off at 40. So that's what we're going to do. Now, this particular play-along and the Cheesy Poofs variations are the only ones that don't display the entire sheet music for it. And the reason why is because of copyright agreements with the composer, Murray Gusick. So because he still sells Flammus, I do link to Flammus and Cheesy Poofs on there. So I highly recommend his content at TapSpace, as well as other composers' stuff on TapSpace. But if you go into the timestamps here, you can still play along to the entire exercise. So even though you don't see the entire exercise, you can hear the entire exercise. So let's do that. So even though, again, you can't see it, you can hear it. Sweet. And then for these play-alongs, it goes up one click at a time. So now we're going to play it at 41. Woo! So fast. All the fast. Slightly rush on the second out of the flam taps. Oops. My bad. I was thinking of a drumming video to make, and then was like, what do I play? Forgot. Now, the ending right here, by the way, sometimes, some years they play it as an eighth note right here, and so it'd just be a single right hand and then nothing until the accent right there, and then other times they'll play it as written right there. Now, I'm getting like a weird, keeps like popping up a thing on one of my YouTube chats, and I don't know why. So I'm trying to figure out like what's going on. It's very distracting. It keeps like flashing something, and then it just went away. A mystery. Better call Scooby and the gang. All right, so I'm going to play through this a couple more times. I'll stretch and massage, and then we'll continue to go up by ones. Okay. So again, that's where there's a slight difference each one of the ears. Well, hello on YouTube Vertical. Now this play along is found in the chop section on my home tab, or in the link at the top of each one of the thousands of play alongs. And again, it's one of the few that doesn't show the whole thing because of copyright, but you can play along to the entire part, as I'm doing. Sweet. Now we're going to stretch and massage, and then I'll get back into playing this one click at a time faster. So the first one that I'm doing stretches the sides of the forearms. It looks funny. It feels great. Ooh wee. It's a weird looking stretch, but I'm telling you, it hits. And to go out of it, go to the way that you went into it. Just reverse it. Now, if you do traditional rotate and hold to one end of the extreme, hold that for like 20 to 30 seconds, then rotate to the other end of the extreme, hold that for 20 to 30 seconds. You can do that for traditional or a Stevens grip. Do it with both hands since you're doing rotary motions for that. But I don't do those anymore, so I'm not going to worry about that. Now I'm going to stretch the underside of the forearm. You could do it like this, one at a time, just kind of like pulling back the fingers. You could do this on your pad like this. Or if you do it on the wall, the lower you go, the deeper the stretch. I'm going to do it there, so I can do both hands at the same time. Yeah. Don't put all your weight into it. Don't injure yourself. Now, the next one is stretching the top side of the forearm, so you could pull it back like this. You could do this one on your pad as well. You can do this one on your legs like I was doing it yesterday on drum kit. Or if you do this one on the wall, the higher you go, the deeper your stretch. So it gives it a sharper angle. But again, don't put all your weight into it. You don't want to hurt yourself. Like this. Next one, stretching fingers. Why, hello. So this one is going thumb to thumb. Goes twice as fast doing it this way. This is the last stretch, and then I'll do a quick massage routine, and then we'll get back into playing some Flammus. We're just going one click at a time, trying to stay nice and relaxed while playing through it. Ooh, ASMR. Enjoy. Free of charge. You don't even have to be a member. Speaking of, on YouTube, if you see a video, there's over 600 of them at the moment that are currently members first. They're all scheduled to release for free. So all of the thousands of play-alongs that are currently available for free and all of the 600 plus that are members first are all coming out for free. It's 99 cents if you want early access to it, because it might be like a year and a half. So just click the join button, and then it's literally 99 cents, like the cheapest I could possibly make it. But again, it'll come out for free, I promise. There's no paywall. I don't sell an app. I don't sell a course. I don't sell a book. I don't teach privately anymore. I don't put my content behind a paywall. It's just early access. If you want it. Massaging now up and down the forum, trying to get really relaxed. Thank you for the people who have signed up for membership. It helps. I'm trying to do this 100% AdSense supported, which, you know, means I make like $1 a day. So, rolling in that dough. So I live in my mansion with 700 bedrooms. I have to take a bus to get from one end of the house to the other. In fact, it takes 20 minutes round trip just to get to the kitchen and back. But, you know, get my steps in for the day. All right, next one that I'm going to do is massaging the back side of the hand with the fingers, and then the thumb is massaging the palm. I'm working my way around the hand, trying to get relaxed. My right, woo, jump scare. Thank you for the sub. My right hand is feeling tight today. That is a sped up version of the level up sound in World of Warcraft. At least it was back when I played it. I don't know if it still is, but appreciate the sub. Okay. Last one, base the tip of each one of the fingers. Massage it at least twice. Just kind of wiggle your way down it. Try and loosen things up. And then we're going to play some more. So I'll show you how to get to this one from the YouTube channel, the home tab. I showed you at the beginning how to get to this from the /drum on my website, which is linked at the top of each one of the play-alongs. But if you don't want to go to my website, where it's organized neater than YouTube, that's fine. You can find it all on my home tab. So my home tab, if you click on this, it's got literally thousands of free drumming videos. So if you scroll down a little bit, there's the chop section. There's over 1,000 grid variations. There's limb independence. There's marching bass drum stuff. There's drumline cadences and score format. There's computer science stuff because I'm a nerd. There's sight reading exercises. There's over 400 technique exercises. And there's over 16 hours of drumming tips and lessons. And then almost 500 live streams of me practicing and answering questions live. Now, for all of these sections, all you have to do is just click on the header, and it expands and it shows you all the playlists, like the shopping sprees, etc. The Flammus variation is in the other chop exercises, or this catch-all one that just has all of the chop stuff in it, all the chop exercises. So inside of here, Flammus. And this is one of the small handful of ones that does not display the entire sheet music, again, because of copyright agreements with Murray Gusick, who's the composer. You can get the full sheet music from TapSpace, which is linked at the top right here. But again, because of copyright, it displays some of the music, but you can hear all of the music. In other words, you can use this to practice listening in and develop perfect interpretation of your roles or whatever. Whatever you want to work on, I likely have an exercise for it. Go slow, stay relaxed. If I'm going slow, and I've been drumming for almost 30 years, you can too. I'm refining my technique. It's an ongoing process. And again, there's no music, but you can hear it. Going up one click at a time helps you to really refine things and make sure there's no gaps in your technique by jumping too high. I learned it from Jeff Queen, who is a 4-time world champion snare drummer, so, you know, kind of knows what he's talking about. Got a couple lessons from him, and this is one of the things he recommended working on. For rudiments, exercises, whatever. Thank you for the reacts. I like it. Sometimes I like it written as is. Sometimes I like it with just the 8th note. Depends on my mood. I screwed up because, again, it's got like a little notification on the YouTube chat. Why is it doing that? Hold on one second. And then it just stopped. It's like when I look at it, like, stops it. So it's the button to do a Q&A or a poll. Why does it keep popping up a notification, though? That's so weird. It's never done that before. And it's only on the YouTube horizontal feed rather than on the vertical. YouTube, you being goofy this morning? Apparently. Okay. Here we go. Need to even out those paradiddle-diddles more. The right and the left are a little different. Gotta relax these flam accents as well. pull back. They'll get louder as the velocity increases with the increased BPM. Yeah, so what I was saying is that like when you're playing something slow and you're playing like a flam accent, if you're playing it like let's say even slower than this, and if you're squeezing too hard while doing this and like forcing in those accents, as you speed them up, it's just gonna be like, and then your arms are gonna burst into flames. Like it's no fun involved unless you have like somebody with a fire extinguisher on standby. But if you don't have that, what I recommend instead is to just relax. So if you're doing this, just like pull back the accents, and it's going to feel like a light accent when you're playing this stuff nice and slow. But as you speed it up, it'll feel wonderful when you finally get to a faster speed. So the faster you go with it, the faster you're going to have to just use a different velocity stroke while doing this. And it's going to make it so that you have a nice relaxed sound while you're playing whatever it is that you're playing, whether it's like flam accents or flam drags or whatever. But that's what I recommend. Let's see. Here I am getting blasted off some carts. I don't know what that means. You're a gladiator preparing for your first Coliseum. Well, congratulations. I don't know what half of that sentence means, but you do you. Prepare for war. Yeah, so I like to do gaming and drumming and sometimes computer science because I'm a nerd. Slightly rushed on the right hand right here on the little 5-stroke. Nice and relaxed on those accents. Distinct heights, but relaxed heights. So I'm going to go up to like 60, maybe 70, just go on 1 clicks at a time. And then I'm going to start going up by 5s, just to chop out at the end. We'll see how fast we get. Whoa! Thumb came off. I was just thinking you look very witchy.
It's October.
I like it. Here we go. I love you. La. Kevin.
You're done with the witch?
Yeah. You're not? Oops. I was too busy thinking about like a video that I made previously. Let me actually show you. So if we scroll down past all this stuff, all the play-alongs, there's thousands of them. You go into the drumming tips section. So there's actually a video that I did a while ago that talks about how to work on flam taps and how there's different types of flam taps. So, drumming tip number 97, this one, where it says 3 different flam taps, 1 exercise. So this one talks about how there's like basically 3 different ways that you can play a flam tap. And then this exercise that I demonstrate in this video shows you how you can work on those by like slowly layering in one hand at a time, playing full-on flam taps, the composite, and then slowly removing the other hand at a time. And so this video gives an explanation of how you can work on your flam taps and what those 3 different types of flam taps are. I'm using a specific one for this exercise, this specific type of flam tap, but there's more than one. So again, drumming tip number 97 talks about that, and that can help you out with Flammus. There's also actually drumming tip, it was a long time ago. Somebody asked me to provide feedback for them. So drumming tip number 49. It's almost 15 minutes of just providing feedback on one video, somebody asking for critique on their technique. So if you look at the timestamps, you can see the different topics that I talk about. But I talk about ways that they can improve the quality of their flam taps, or improve like their left hand or their right hand technique, etc. So these timestamps show like the things that I provide some feedback on off of this rep of Flammus. So if you're interested in learning like some of the things that I'm looking for with this particular exercise that I'm just kind of going through today, check out drumming tip number 49, how to improve Flammus, or the one drumming tip number 9084. Just kidding. Drumming tip number 97 is where you can see the flam tap stuff. Anyways, I'm gonna get back to the grind. So going back to the home tab, you can find Flammus again inside of the chop section. Whoop. And the other chop exercises is where this one is at. Flammus and Cheesy Poofs are the only ones that doesn't display all of the music. Again, all the other ones do. It's just because of copyright. But I'll play it quietly so you can hear the play along. Hear how it's still playing. That way you can practice interp, listening in with perfect interp of diddles. Like, those are computer generated. They're not gonna mess up. This is too fast for you. In the description of here, you can actually go all the way down to 20 beats a minute on this, one click at a time, all the way up to 160 if you really want to play this fast. Up to you. We'll start speeding her up more here in a few more reps. Until then, oops. Oh, no. Talking messing me up. Until then, I'm going to focus on really relaxing those accents while making distinct tights. Sweet. I could probably relax those accents even more at the end. Thinking. Something about the left feels weird. Now that weird thing is happening on the vertical too. Like the button is changing. So weird. But it's like changing differently. Like the horizontal is like putting up a little like plus sign with like a blue circle and like a number in it. But then the vertical is like changing to a graph, like a bar graph, or just a plus sign. It's so weird. Don't know why he's doing that. Oops. So that break came from me trying to figure out, like, why would YouTube's vertical be different than the horizontal? So, like, I was thinking about that instead of my playing, and I messed up. Sweet. So now what I'm going to do is I'll play it at 60, and then I'll start going up by 5s to chop out. So this first, like, 20 reps of this was just refining technique, going one click at a time. And now I'm going to just, like, chop out for the end of the stream. But I recommend spending most of your time playing slow, like I've been doing. Again, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. If I can do it, you can too. We can all benefit from playing slower. Sorry, pad was sliding and it was hitting the mic. Just realize it. Sweet. Now, you may have noticed with each one of these reps that when it goes up one click at a time, it just immediately counts off. Unless the BPM ends with a 0 or a 5, like 65 beats a minute, then it gives you a few seconds to get yourself set up so you can run over, hit play, then run back, pick up your sticks, and then play it. It's by design. $70. Scroll down, clicky click, and then it counts off. One and a 2. 75. I say it all the time, but don't jump up by fives. If you are just learning something, just go by ones. If you're refining, go by ones. If you're chopping out, go by fives, tens. Refine, just one. One, not two. That's not one. The question you should ask yourself is, how good do you want to be? If you want to be really good, go by one. Woo! Faster than Vanguard played it. That's a joke. ASMR drum stream. Enjoy. Mm-hmm. 85. We're getting closer to 100. Whee! Now, by the way, I'm now going up by fives, but I was going up by ones from 40 to up to 60. So if I were to practice this next time, I'd start at 60, go by ones, until I get to the point where I'm like, okay, now I'm going to start the chop out, and I'll go up by fives or tens. So go up by ones, and when you're refining stuff, and when you are just chopping out, you can go faster than that. It's okay to chop out. Just make it like 10, 20% of your time at most. Cool. Let's go to 90. Click. I think 120 might be the breaking point today. Maybe 125. Because it's been like over a week since like actually sitting down and practicing because of that dog we were dog sitting for. Not as fast as normal. Especially not with these heavy sticks. The hammers. Double tape. They're great for chops though. Yeah, there's an interesting... There was like a slight little issue there, like you just heard, with the diddles. How dare you unsub? I know, I'm so sorry. I messed up a tap roll. I mean, technically a flam roll, but... Whoa. I raised my taps right before that. Flam roll. Ooh, triple digits. Wow. We are going to break the sound barrier at 100. For that, I need some matcha. Matcha o nomimashou. Oishii. Here we go. Yeah, still a slight interp issue there. I might work on a roll interp exercise next technique stream, so stay tuned. But tomorrow's limb independence. I'm trying to alternate so that I'm like a day on a pad, a day on the kit, a day on a pad, a day on the kit. Most of my experience has been on a pad and concert percussion, and then like less than 1% on a kit. So I need to make sure I practice it more. Yes, it's the left hand. Yeah, the left hand is... What's a little wonky on that? Wah, wah. All right, 110. Thank you for the react on YouTube vertical. Here we go. Let's go. Oh, I was early. I was guessing. Okay, 115. Now, at this speed, you need to make sure that you have signed permission slip from your parents or a legal guardian to play it faster than 110. YouTube will check. Right hand was a little high on the paradiddles. It was like, and the emphasis. I'm just kidding. Not that bad. But it was higher than it should have been. 120. Here we go. right hand was better on the paradiddle diddles. Yay! But playing with these sticks, again, these are the Hardeman hammers, so they're extra heavy Hardeman sticks, and they're double taped. So I weighed them on stream one time. They're 44% heavier than a normal taped pair, and they're great for chops. Don't play them on a drum, though. They'll explode. They will shatter into a million pieces. Don't quote me on that. Okay, 125. Here we go. When you get over 120, you have to be at least this tall to ride the BPMs. You got cut. How do you improve fast but efficiently? Why is like weird? The like chat is like scrolling up and down. You have 2 major things you need to work on. That's it? Wow. I've got like 200. Hey, shh, we only need 1 of me. I hit refresh because it kept like reloading. Oh, it's still doing it. Huh. The YouTube vertical chat is... It drank too much coffee, I think. It's very like bouncy for me. What are the 2 things that you need to work on? Maybe I can help with that. Maybe not. I don't know. Stay tuned, folks. We'll find out on today's episode of Office Hours with Jared. Hit drum fast. People ask questions. Hit drum fast again. And go. You won this round. Play along. My hands just couldn't handle it. Sorry, I had to. Okay, so this particular play along, Flammus, again, is a weird one in that it doesn't show all the music, but you can hear all of it. But if you go to the home tab, if you want more chop stuff, my actual favorite section, if you go down to here, is the chops section. When you click on this, it shows you all these different playlists. And I really like the shopping sprees in here. Inside of here are a ton of different sprees. Like, there's a bunch from Blue Devils right here. There's even more Blue Devils. There's some older ones. There's some down here. Some real old school Vanguard ones. Check them out if you're interested in it. They're super cool. But they all actually show you the full thing. So, like, this is the Velvet Knights 5/4 shopping spree. Super cool exercise. Highly recommend it. One of my favorites to play through. But you can see the whole thing and you can hear the whole thing. Whereas with Flammus and Cheesy Poops variations, you can only hear the whole thing. And that is by design, just because of copyright. Speaking with Murray about it. Yeah, that's weird. So it keeps like glitching on the YouTube vertical. And when it sometimes does that, it's because somebody's like harassing in the chat. But they've been banned. So like no one can see their comment, including myself. And I know it does that because it will do that like after I ban somebody, which is hilarious to me because they're still wasting their time, but literally nobody can see it other than themselves. But anyways, okay, so there's also grid variations here. If you want to work on your rudiments, I highly recommend working on this. Check that out if you're interested in it. All these playlists, there's a ton of them. Limb Independence, I'm going to practice that tomorrow. There's almost 500 marching bass drum stuff. There's a bunch of drumline cadences and score format. There's sight reading exercises. These are all currently members first, but I've got like over 600 of those videos, so this will come out in like a year and a half from now. We've got over 400 technique exercises and then over 16 hours of drumming tips right here to help you improve when I've answered different questions in the chats. Let's see. Okay. You feel like your condition is really rare. You can play really clean, but you don't think while you're playing. I'm reading through the comment. So it seems like, if I were to summarize it, what you're saying is like, hey, I can play difficult stuff clean, standing still, and it sounds great. But as soon as I like am playing it with a Met, or I'm playing it while marking time, it doesn't sound great. That's common. I knew a guy who eventually became the center snare for the Blue Devils, where it was same scenario for him. I mentioned this, I think, yesterday, actually. So he, like, when he marked time to stuff, it was like a weird, couldn't mark time, great. And then his hands were fine, but with marking time, like, the instructor's like, yeah, that's not it. It's going to cause some issues with marching. When practicing it, there's some things that I talk about in these drumming tips playlist. There's just under 16 hours of tips in here that can help you out with like these little nuances. One of the things that I mentioned in some of them is when you're marking time to something, is if you mark time and you like stomp and you can really feel the feet resonate, basically vibrate through your body, that's going to make it a little bit easier to mark time to it. But if you're doing like a really light mark time where you're just kind of like barely moving and you can't feel that, you have this like automaticity almost, where you're basically on autopilot with your feet and you're not aligning the hands and the feet. It's like two separate processes going on in your brain that is not communicating with each other. But if you like stomp, this is a temporary thing, it makes it so that you can feel it better. You'll feel it vibrate through your body, and you can actually focus on that more and actually be able to get your hands to play to your feet, as opposed to just putting your feet on autopilot and focusing too much on the hands. What you're doing mentally right now is you're basically creating a priority list of like, hey, brain, what should I focus on? Should I focus on whether I'm hungry, or should I focus on what I'm playing, or should I focus on what I'm marking time to, or should I focus on that cute person right over there? Whatever it is going to be that your brain is going to focus on. And right now, on that list, marking time is way lower, and you're instead focusing on the hands, which makes sense because you're probably doing that more than you are combining the two. So my guess is the way that you're practicing is you're spending a larger percentage of time on just the pad rather than the pad with a Met while marking time to it. And it's great that you're practicing, but what you need to do is simulate the kind of playing that you want to do at an audition or in a lot or on a field or wherever as closely as possible. So if all you're doing is just playing and you're not playing to a Met or ideally a play along, I'll more on that in a second, and you're not marking time to it, then you're reinforcing bad habits basically, or inefficient habits, if we're going with some of the language that you used in your comment about how you wanted to improve more efficiently. So if you want to improve efficiently, you need to give your brain more time to process in between each one of the notes, which is why when I'm practicing any one of these like thousands of play-alongs, like when I was just playing through Flammus, is I started at 40 and I went one click at a time. Going at 40 makes it so that there's all this space in between for you to be able to process and to work on like your technique or the timing in between each one of the notes or whatever it is that you're trying to improve. Like I, as a snare drummer who marched with traditional grip, am still trying to get my match grip to feel as good on my left hand as it does on my right hand because I had several seasons of marching with traditional grip and I'm just not as comfortable with the left hand playing match grip. So I'm still trying to refine that. And so by slowing it down to 40, it gives more time for me to be able to handle it without like being overwhelmed with like, I'm marking time while I'm listening to a play along or whatever. Okay. Put that aside. To elaborate on what I mentioned with the play alongs, when you have a metronome going, it has the clicks where you're getting a reference point. It's like, okay, cool. I'm playing to the quarter note, but I could be playing like this is in time, my downbeats, but everything in between was supposed to be like all of that is still in time with the quarter note, with the metronome, but the subdivision in between is out of time. So those triplets sounded wonky. So with these play-alongs, the reason why there's over 2,000 of them is because if you want to be able to refine your interpretation of, let's say, like tap fives or something, I would go to the 5-stroke roll timing variations, and I would go inside of here, and there's several different variations in here. I'm just going to do the stock version of this. This play-along, playing to this, you'll be able to hear every single one of the notes and whether or not you're playing in time. And this allows you to actually practice listening in and playing with the rest of the line, which allows you to have literally perfect interpretation, rhythmically speaking, if you're going with this right here. So yes, using a metronome is great, but using a play-along is even better because it gives you all the interior notes and it allows it to change. So I don't have to program my metronome to go like 5-lets into da-da-da-da-da, into da-ga-da-ga-da, etc. All I have to do is just like hit play, and then it does all these rhythms perfectly for me there. So what I'd recommend for you, if you want to work on improving efficiently, is... Sorry, phone alarm just went off. Use play-alongs, ideally, so that way you can practice listening in, not just to the quarter note as a reference point, but every single one of the interior notes, so that way you can play clean. But while you're doing it, simulate it in an audition environment or in a lot environment by actually standing up and marking time to it. And you're going to mark time to it, again, with pounding your feet for a while until you can really get that hand and feet connection going. And then eventually you can get into a mark time where you're not like stomping quite literally and feeling it all throughout your body. Okay? So this is just a temporary thing that you work on while marking time to this to get used to it. But if you're unsure, like, well, what exercise should I practice in order to like improve my flams or my rolls or whatever, on the link that's like at the top of each one of the descriptions, it takes you to jaredoleary.com/drum. And this video right here, the start here, if you don't know what to practice, this has a bunch of tips inside of here. Just use the timestamps to be like, okay, what are some exercises to work on rolls? Well, for like 12 minutes, I talk about exercises for rolls. Or some exercises to work on chops. For like 5.5 minutes, I talk about how to do that. Or your flams, or whatever. So there's a lot of tips inside of here that can help guide you towards some different exercises. So I give you like a preview of like, here's what these different exercises are. Here's how you can use this to improve that. Actually, I was just talking about that one, etc. So there's a ton of different exercises on my channel's home tab or at the jaredoleary.com/drum. But because there's so many, it might be overwhelming. So that video can help. Or just leave a comment on any of the videos like, hey, how do I improve my blah, blah, blah? And I'll be like, oh, check out this playlist. It's in the technique section. And you just scroll down and you go to stick control. That can help you out. Or, I don't know, 3- and 4-stroke exercises. You go inside of here, and this one has how many videos? 25 videos in here to work on your 3s and 4s. Okay? Etc. So it's common to have hand and feet disconnection, but it comes because you're just not practicing that way all the time. And so the majority of your practicing, I'm guessing, is just with a pad rather than with a metronome or ideally a play along and marking time. Just got to do that more. Get yourself like a snare stand, or in this case, for me, this is a keyboard stand, and I just put tenor pads on top of it. There's 2 pads here, and then just put my snare pad on top of that. So this works great for me, but I've got many more setups for that, so that way I can stand while playing as opposed to sitting. Highly recommend that. But if you want more tips, there's literally over 16 hours of tips inside of here in the tips and lessons section. This playlist, the drumming lessons one, those are scripted videos, like how to hold traditional grip, etc. So it's as precise as possible I could get, as short as possible, like on how to play something. But then this one has like 13 seconds shy of 16 hours of drumming tips inside of here. And this is when I like answer questions live on the stream. So there's a lot of topics in here. Whenever it says and other drumming tips, that means there's more than just like this first thing, like how to practice marching bass drum on your own. That's what I start with. But then there's more topics inside of there that might be of more interest. So lots of great questions from people across all the different chats. So you can see a wide variety of content in here that gets pretty nerdy. So for example, like drumming tip number 100, it's almost 15 minutes of just answering somebody's question about like whether or not it's worth it to get a doctorate in music education. And so as somebody with a doctorate in it, I give some honest thoughts on that. So we get pretty in depth. So like earlier, I was practicing Flammus, and I mentioned this like, what, 30 minutes ago? But Flammus, somebody was asking for feedback on it. So I gave them feedback on it, and it's almost 15 hours of edited feedback. So there's lots of stuff that you can work on, and you can use the timestamps to see like what kind of feedback did I give on, I don't know, what, left-hand technique versus right-hand technique versus blah, 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 etc. So stay tuned. You love the lessons? Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And welcome from India. I'm from Arizona. You have E-drums. And your cymbal and your hi-hat pedal is not working? Try blowing on the cartridge. Just like the old Nintendo's cartridges. I don't know, actually. I don't have an E-drum, so I'm not sure. My guess is it's either a MIDI cable issue, so like the cable that's connecting to the yeah, I went to Arizona State. All 3 of my degrees are from there. The MIDI cable is either like got a little break in it, and so it's not connecting. So it could be a cable issue. So maybe try swapping the cable out and see if that's better. Or it could be that the trigger itself in whatever the MIDI device is, whether it's like a head or a cymbal or whatever, is not registering the clicks or the hits. Man, I can't speak today. Yeah, those are just some quick guesses for that. But anyways, I'm going to call it here. I'm going to get ready for, what's it called? Ghosts of Yotei, which is such a good game. And you can find under the gaming section here, you can actually find the stream for the beginning of that game, as well as the previous game. This one. Under the Ghost of Tsushima and Yotei. So you can find all the prior streams for that if you want to like see the full game, etc. But I'll be on there in probably about like 15 or so minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But yeah. If you enjoy this free content, just share it with somebody else. There's thousands of free exercises on here. Literally thousands. So something to keep you busy. If you are unsure what to practice, again, that video that's at the top of my website gives you some tips on there. You can also actually find that video in the drumming live streams playlist. It's right here. How to get started with thousands of free drumming videos. Just look at the timestamps to give yourself some pointers on where to look. You've been on the technique playlist, working on your taps and technique. Sweet! Do it slow. Highly recommend it. Slow. I was warming up with Flammus at 40 and went one click at a time. But awesome to hear. The technique section should be where you spend the majority of your time, especially if you do drumline related stuff. This is how you get better. Trust me, I'm a doctor. Anyways, I'm going to call it here. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. And as always, if you enjoy this content, share it with somebody else. If you don't enjoy this content, share it with an enemy and then like do an evil laugh. Mwahahaha. Love from New York. I haven't been there in a while. Well, hello from New York. I'm from Arizona. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm going to get ready for Ghost of Yotei. So, see ya. Goodbye.